Oh, by the way, was the idea that your fat cells store, I gotta get real close to you now. Was, was the information that fat cells store your toxins new information? Because if that was new to you, as
how
it was
old were
to
you
me,
when you learned that?
Put a 1 in the comments. Let us know that we are not the only ones in the dark about this, okay? Because I was really in the dark about that. So, detox for weight management, right?
Yes.
Do you want to go into the
nutrition?
The top 3?
Oh, I just gave away the first one.
You did, but that's okay. We're just going to talk about it next anyway.
Okay. Oh man, what a Monday. Sorry.
Monday madness is what it is today, I'm telling you. I feel the same way. So yeah, the top 3 ways to reduce toxins for weight loss. And the first one, as you gave away,
nutrition is very important when it comes to detox. What you put into your body affects everything you do. So food toxins in this day and age are very, very real. We've got a lot of food recalls. There's a lot of E. coli, listeria. Like the people that are handling the produce, the cross-contamination, like all of these are just the tip of the iceberg. So I personally enjoy my backyard garden. I grow food not only for us, but for my animals as well, and reptiles, because that's not technically an animal.
Well, I know you mentioned like all the bacterial type things that can happen to your food, right? And that's not even taking into consideration the things that we're purposefully doing to the food, like
preservatives,
GMOs, artificial colors, added sugars. And by the way, I didn't know this till recently either, but the reason a tomato at the grocery store, let's focus on grocery store, so not local, typically not local. This time of year, more likely local, but other times of the year not. And the reason a tomato is so beautifully red and gorgeous looking is it's likely been pumped full of artificial colors to make it look that way.
Or artificially ripened.
And artificially
when
ripened.
When it comes from a different country, they pick it before it's ripe, because by the time it gets to you, it will have time to pass. So if they pick a tomato when it's green and artificially ripen it in the store or at some point at the warehouse before it hits the store, that's when they're doing all of the work to make it look wonderful, even though it hasn't even got the full nutrition because it wasn't even ripe when they picked it.
Yeah.
So support local. You're going to get the best quality nutrition out of the food when you're supporting local. So
we put together an actual free resource on local farms in Nova Scotia that do
produce and
organic farms and free range meats. So what happens when all these artificial things are done to our produce and even our meats, like when you talk about the meats, you know, the hormones, the antibiotics, the dioxins, so much stuff is done to our meats, and our produce as well, without us knowing that all these toxins are being added to it. There are ways, and we're going to give you some suggestions on how to reduce those food toxins out of your diet. And one of the big things, like for me, like you were talking about the chickens, I did not know until recently that if your chicken, when you buy a chicken at the store, if it does not say air sealed or air locked on it, is that the term?
I think so.
I think that's
it's like vacuum sealed type of thing.
Right. Then it's likely been bleached.
Can you imagine bleaching
before
your chicken?
It's been wrapped to keep the bacteria off of it. So, first of all, if you're buying store-bought chicken,
is that what it is?
It could be. Make sure you wash your chicken before you eat it to get all that, you know, bleach off the chicken.
Or just buy local from a farm that doesn't do that. I can list some really awesome. My favorite chicken farmer, I can tell you if you private message me. Yeah, but
you have to reach out to find that information out.
PM me or DM me or whatever, and I'll tell you my favorites and why.
And we'll put them on our blog as well. But there is a free resource guide for Nova Scotia that we've put together.
Yeah.
And some ideas for outside our local area to help you find those local produce and markets and free-range farms as well.
Yeah, because everybody should be staycationing. That's what we're doing this year, staycationing. So you can go anywhere in Nova Scotia and we'll let you know where you can find some produce and some awesome free-range meat.
So one of the big tips that we had was, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, was like look for fermented food, use natural supplements, use natural probiotics and prebiotics, raw foods, healthy oils. Make sure you're reading the labels carefully, because one of the hidden things is sugar, and sugar has so many names for
It's crazy.
that you really have to, so do some research, do some searching online, find out, you know, all the names for sugar, because there's so many of them. We don't have time to list them here, but there's
Yeah.
there's so many
put a
of
link.
them. But it's important to know. And one of the big ones that I always thought was a healthy food, turns out not a healthy food most of the time, is yogurt, because it's packed with different sugar terms, and it really makes it not healthy for you. So
If you wanted the good yogurt, it would taste like kefir. Bleh. Sorry, I have nothing nice to say about kefir.
So one of the
Not
big
okay.
things is read the labels. I know it's time consuming, but the less ingredients that are in something, the more likely it is that it's healthier and has less chemicals and toxins in it.
Yeah. You also want to make sure that the produce you're buying is in season.
Yeah.
So especially if you're going to be buying from the grocery store, because a lot of times, like if you go to the grocery stores now, you're going to find local berries, right? But not necessarily local produce. So if you were to go to a farmer's market, or like, I don't want to name specific companies, but there's lots of stores that are farm fresh foods. I went to one today and we had yummy kebabs for supper. But I won't name it.
So we will. So in our resource link, actually, we'll put like local farmers markets, local organic produce farms, as well as local free range, and some ideas if you're not local on how you can find that information yourself for your area. But and so reach out and let us know if you want that resource information, so that you don't have to go. I spent hours looking that stuff up for you. So reach out. I don't want you to have to also spend hours looking that information up.
Yes. We could go on about this all night, and we're already we were late starting, but like our video this week's already longer than our video last week, and we haven't even covered the other two ways.